Hey, it's Rory with searchinshot.com, and today Realme just dropped 3 brand new smartphones in Malaysia. Here is everything you need to know about it. So let's start at the top with the Realme 2 Pro. This is sort of like their flagship smartphone, and it has up front a large 6.3-inch Full HD Plus display with a DEWDROP notch design. That's this minimalist notch, so for you notch haters, at least there's that. Inside there is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 processor mated to up to 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. There's also a 3500 mAh battery keeping the lights on. For photos, you get a dual camera setup at the back with a 16 megapixel main sensor and a 2 megapixel secondary sensor for depth effects. Up front there is a 16 megapixel selfie shooter with AI beautification features for, well, selfies. So there will be 3 variants of this smartphone coming to Malaysia. The first one is the base model with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. That device is priced at 849 ringgit. Then moving up that, you have the version with 6 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. That device is priced at 949 ringgit. And finally, you have the top spec variant with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. That smartphone is priced at 1,099 ringgit. But this smartphone will also be available for a special 11/11 day sale, where you can have the Realme 2 Pro base model for 799, the mid-spec model for 899, and the top spec model, that's 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, for 999. Next up, we have the Realme 2, which is, can I have one? Thanks. Which is this phone. So this smartphone, as you notice, has this new sort of diamond cut design. It is a slightly more unique look, but up front you get a slightly not so good screen. So instead of a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus screen, you have a 6.2-inch HD Plus, that's 720p screen with this slightly larger notch. Inside, this smartphone is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 450 processor mated to up to 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage. There is a larger, thank goodness, 4230 mAh battery inside, and for photos you get a 13 megapixel plus 2 megapixel dual camera setup at the back and an 8 megapixel selfie shooter up front. There will be 2 variants of this smartphone coming into Malaysia. The first one is the base model with 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. That device is priced at 599 ringgit. And then there is the top spec version, which has 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. That device is priced at 699 ringgit. Finally, we have the Realme C1, which is all the way over there. I'm not going to walk over there. So this is the most entry-level device of the bunch, but it has a lot of the specs of the Realme 2. So this smartphone also has a Snapdragon 450 processor inside, but this time memory only comes in at 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of internal storage. The selfie camera also only comes with 5 megapixels now, but the back camera remains the same 13 plus 2 megapixel dual camera setup. It also retains the super large 4230 mAh battery, which is good. But that's about it. So there will be 1 variant of this smartphone which has 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of internal storage, and that smartphone is priced at 449 ringgit. But there will be a special sale exclusively on LAZADA from the 22nd of November to the 22nd of December, and that price, during that sale you can buy that smartphone for 399 ringgit. So the Realme 2 Pro will be available on the 11th of November, the Realme 2 will be available on the 24th of November, and the Realme C1 will be available on the 22nd of November. And that's it. That's all you need to know about the Realme series launch in Malaysia. For more details, check out the post, which will be linked below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rory, this is searchinshot.com, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!